There's nothing quite like the satisfaction of building something with your own two hands. It's a primal urge, like knowing how to start a fire or build a shelter. And in a world of mass production, that feeling of creating something unique is more rewarding than ever. That brings us to the exciting world of DIY electric car engines. Electric vehicles are no longer a futuristic fantasy. They're here, they're quiet, and they're changing the way we drive. But the best part, you can build one yourself. Imagine the thrill of cruising down the road, the wind in your hair, knowing that the engine propelling you forward is a product of your own ingenuity. Now I know what you're thinking. Building an electric car engine sounds complicated. And yeah, it's a challenge, but trust me, it's also incredibly rewarding. Plus, with the right guidance, anyone with a bit of grit and a love for tinkering can do it. So, are you ready to roll up your sleeves and dive into the electrifying world of DIY electric car engines? Let's get started. This is going to be epic. Before we begin our electric adventure, we need the right tools for the job. Don't worry, this isn't about raiding a NASA facility. We're talking about good, solid tools you can find at any hardware store worth its salt. First up, safety gear. We'll be working with electricity, so safety glasses and insulated gloves are non-negotiable. Think of it like this. Would you wrestle a bear without any protection? Didn't think so. Next, you'll need a good set of wrenches, screwdrivers, and pliers. These are your trusty sidekicks on this journey. You'll also need a multimeter for checking electrical circuits. Don't worry, it's not as intimidating as it sounds. Think of it as a detective, sniffing out any electrical gremlins before they cause trouble. Finally, you'll need the components for the electric engine itself. This includes an electric motor, motor controller, battery pack, wiring, and various connectors. Choosing the right components depends on your car and your performance expectations. But don't worry, we'll get to that later. Remember, having the right tools is like having the right ingredients for a delicious meal. It makes the whole process smoother and more enjoyable. So, gather your gear and let's get this show on the road. Alright, let's talk about the heart of your electric beast, the motor. This is what will transform electrical energy into mechanical power, making your car move. Choosing the right motor is crucial. It depends on your car's size and weight, and how much power you want. There are two main types, DC motors and AC motors. DC motors are simpler and cheaper but less efficient. AC motors are more powerful and efficient, but they're also more complex. It's like choosing between a reliable old truck and a sleek sports car. Both will get you there, but the experience will be quite different. Once you've chosen your mechanical heart, it's time to connect the wires. This step involves connecting the motor to the motor controller, which acts like the brain of the operation. Make sure you follow the wiring diagram provided with your motor and controller. Remember, electricity can be dangerous if not handled properly, so double-check your connections. Connecting the motor is like hooking up the main artery of your electric beast. It's a critical step that needs to be done with precision and care. But don't worry, with a little patience and attention to detail, you'll have your motor wired up and ready to roar in no time. Section 4. Engine Bay Installation. Finding the perfect spot for your motor. With the motor prepped and ready, it's time to install it in your car's engine bay. This is where things get exciting. First, you'll need to remove the old gasoline engine. Don't worry, it's not as daunting as it sounds. Just be sure to disconnect all the fuel lines and electrical connections before you start yanking it out. Next, you'll need to fabricate or purchase a motor mount. This is what will hold your electric motor securely in place. Remember, this isn't some flimsy garden gnome we're installing. This needs to be rock solid. Aligning the motor correctly is crucial for smooth operation. You want it to be perfectly aligned with the drive shaft, which connects the motor to the wheels. This step is like performing open-heart surgery on your car. It's intricate, it's challenging, and it's absolutely thrilling. Section 5. The brain. Installing the motor controller. Next up, we're installing the brain of our electric beast, the motor controller. This clever device acts as the interpreter between the battery pack and the motor. It takes the direct current power from the battery and converts it into the alternating current power that the motor needs to run. Installing the motor controller involves mounting it securely in the engine bay and connecting it to the battery pack, motor, and throttle. Again, follow the wiring diagram carefully and make sure all connections are secure and insulated. Remember, a well-installed motor controller is crucial for the smooth and efficient operation of your electric car. It's like the conductor of an orchestra, making sure everything works in harmony. Section 6. Power up, installing the battery pack. Now it's time to give our electric beast some juice. Installing the battery pack is a crucial step that requires careful planning and attention to safety. First, you'll need to choose the right battery pack for your needs. This depends on your desired range and budget. Next, you'll need to find a safe and secure location for the battery pack. This could be in the trunk, under the seats, or even where the fuel tank used to be. Make sure the battery pack is securely mounted and protected from the elements. Connecting the battery pack involves high-voltage, direct current power, so it's essential to take precautions. Always disconnect the negative terminal of the battery first and use insulated tools. This is not the time for shortcuts. Section 7. Taking control. Setting up the throttle. With the battery pack installed, we're in the home stretch. Now it's time to set up the throttle, which will control the speed of your electric car. The throttle sends a signal to the motor controller, telling it how much power to deliver to the motor. You can use a variety of throttles, from simple potentiometers to more sophisticated pedal assemblies. Installing the throttle involves connecting it to the motor controller and ensuring it moves freely. This is it, the moment we've all been waiting for. With the throttle connected, you should be ready to take your DIY electric car for its first spin. Remember, start slowly and get a feel for the car before unleashing its full potential.